Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where today we will be taking a look at the Era 2 Premium Medium, the Chrysler K Tank. Alright, so for those of you short on time, here is my quick overview. The K Tank packs one heck of a punch, but it is the second slowest Premium Medium in the game. It comes with armor piercing as standard, heat as gold, and ATGMs as secondary. The AP will do an average of 780 alpha and the ATGMs will do an average of 1100 alpha. But for all that firepower, it is very slow to maneuver. The K Tank will do 53 kilometers an hour. The only tank slower than the K Tank is the T62M1, which does 50 kilometers an hour. So, on a scale of 1 to Big Light Panzer, how good is this thing? I'd say it's a solid 6 out of 10 for an average player. A good player can make it an 8 out of 10. Is it worth the 12,900 gold base price? That's a tough one. That is a tough one. I am ever so slightly leaning towards yes. But that's only a yes for those experienced players that know the maps well and know how to play the maps well. This tank is slow, so you will need all of your game knowledge to keep you alive. Alright, let's take a look at the K Tank in a little bit more detail. It is the 18th premium medium to join Era 2, so it has a lot of competition. And because this is the case, I will state how it ranks against the other premium mediums rather than compare it directly to one tank or two tanks. So without crew or equipment, the K Tank has 350mm of pen on its standard armor piercing rounds, 380mm of pen on its gold rounds, gold heat rounds I should say, and 450mm on its ATGMs. The AP and the heat will do an average of 780 alpha per shot, which is very nice, and the ATGMs will do an average of 1100 per shot, which is also very, very nice. So from the gun's point of view, the pen on the standard rounds is the second worst. The Ignis still holds last place for pen on standard rounds, but the alpha on the K Tank takes it to the top spot. Given that heat is not quite useless in Era 2, it's not brilliant in Era 2, that leaves the ATGMs. The pen on the ATGMs ranks them 4th, but the alpha takes it all the way to the top spot as well. So from an alpha point of view, this is the best premium medium in Era 2. Hands down, by quite a long way as well. So if that's of interest to you, then you might consider picking this one up. The K Tank has 2,750 hit points. That ranks it 9th. Its unboosted top speed is 53 kilometers an hour, which we have already covered, and that ranks it second worst. Its view range of 505 meters ranks it 11th, and finally its moving concealment comes in at 452 meters, which ranks it second worst. And I'll just tack on the end here. Its standard DPM, without crew or equipment or anything like that, is 3,370, which ranks it 10th. So this is a tank of extremes. It has the very best in some areas and almost the very worst in other areas, which in some ways, that's what sells it to me. It has a very specific place on the battlefield, and it feels very similar to the M60A2. It's not an exact match to the A2. The A2 has premium high explosive those rounds, they really do slap sometimes. But it doesn't have armor piercing. The K Tank does have armor piercing. Both tanks have the same diameter ATGMs, different guns, but the bore of the gun is 152mm, so it's the same size but different actual weapons. But the behavior of the ATGMs is very, very similar. The K Tank ATGMs are rapid. The time to target is very short, which makes it much, much easier to hit targets at range. but it does mean that firing up and down onto targets is much harder. So firing up above cover and pulling the missile back down onto target as you pull out from cover, that's not as easy to do. So that is possibly something to consider when you buy this tank, because that having slow ATGMs can sometimes be better than having faster accelerating ATGMs. But for me, I like the playstyle of the M60A2. So couple the M60A2 with some armor piercing that really does a huge amount of alpha, and you've got yourself a tank that has quite a good weapon system. I'm not going to lie. This is, well, as we've already covered, this is the best weapon system fitted to an Era 2 premium medium. And this is right here. This is a good demonstration of the speed of the ATGMs. That's rapid. That I didn't see how far that was. That's basically across the entire map, but that was very, very quick. So there you go. That's an idea of how fast the ATGMs are. And if you like the M60A2 playstyle, then this one might be for you. Yeah. I play this thing. It is slow, like I've mentioned. So I play this thing with the traction system just so I can get the extra 10% speed, which takes my top speed up to about 57, I believe. I don't know. You might see me reaching the top speed around here in a second, but that little bit of extra speed does help somewhat. I will say it's not massive, but yeah, you know, a little bit is better than nothing at all. So I run the traction system as well as the advanced gun lane drive and advanced loader, and I think that works quite well for this tank. I mean, you can't have everything in one tank, or at least balanced premium tanks don't have everything, and that means that I like this tank. And another reason for me to like this tank, and and possibly for you to like this tank as well, is the economy stats. It has a 60% silver boost, 15% tank XP boost, 4% free XP boost, and finally a 10% crew XP boost. That 60% silver boost isn't the best in the era, but for a tank that takes the top spot for alpha, a 60% silver boost in conjunction with having the best alpha for a premium medium in the game, that really isn't too bad when you all things considered. When you put those two things together, this is quite a unique vehicle, and for that reason, I kind of like it. I'll be honest, I kind of like this thing. So with that out the way, the final question to answer really is it worth the 12,900 gold base price? For a new player, I am hard pressed to say yes to that question. If you're new, I don't think this is a tank that you should invest in, because it is quite nuanced. If you are more advanced in the game and you have more advanced game skills and game knowledge, then I would recommend this tank to you. I would recommend that you consider getting it, because it can be a lot of fun. The ATGMs are quick, they hit very hard, and if you've got support, you can do a huge amount of damage. I know I've just said if you have support. I have absolutely no support here, and you're going to find out what happens to this tank when it has no support. But hey, you go down swinging, right? Yeah, this TR-125, I think I could have killed him, but I got distracted by the BMP-2 on the left. And yeah, I mean, there's a 120 there. It's basically game over. And I fluffed the last shot into the top plate. You know, can't have everything, can you? But there you go. That is my overview, or my review, of the Chrysler K Tank. I like it. I've bought it. And if you're a decent player and you know what you're doing, I'd recommend you get one as well. So that is all I have for this one, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If not, a dislike. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next one.